All right, since we don't really do intros anymore, we're just going to get into our conversations. We just decided to just kill intros for this podcast.
And to preface it, our guest said it's going to be the highest rated episode of Group Chats history.
I predict.
Okay.
We got a star with us.
We have a real star.
Real star. Unlike you two.
We're like TikTok stars. Oh wow, this is episode 800, which is fucking crazy.
Is it really?
Yeah.
How many years has it been?
It'll be 6 years in November.
6 in November,
Yeah.
Podcast has been out for 6 years?
Yes.
Jesus, dude.
6
Podcast's
years.
been out since like 2005.
Oh,
ours, you mean podcasts in general?
Yeah.
Oh, like 2005.
I'm serious. I mean, I get it. I've listened to, I listened to Ramona Shelburne's when she did
Oh yeah, the
Clipper
Sterling
deal. Yeah, Sterling.
Yeah,
I listened to that.
That was an amazing one.
Now you can hear me, and I'm not lying. If I'm lying, I'm dying. That's the only one I've ever listened to.
Well, here's your
Because
second.
I was two. Yeah, number two. But that's because I was
I think I've
interested
seen
in
Key listen
learning
to Jake
about
Paul
the
a couple
whole.
of times.
You said what?
I think Jake Paul a couple of times also, no?
Who?
Jake Paul.
Does
He's
he
the
know
number
what it
one athlete in the world right now.
You know Jake Paul.
The boxer dude or whatever?
Yeah.
Not a chance.
No interest.
Why would I? What? Zero interest. Zero interest. See, here's why.
Speak your mind.
No, I'm just telling you. No, seriously, Terz. Why would I be interested in watching an amateur boxer fight tomato cans in boxing?
I would
I'm not
argue-
interested in that.
Is he amateur still?
He's professional.
watch
If
the-
you get
He's
paid
not
for it,
amateur.
you're professional, right?
Did you watch
No,
Netflix?
I got paid in college and I wasn't a professional. So,
That's incredible. Can we introduce you on the podcast? Oh, yeah, because since we're not an intro, we're just talking. So this is a full USC episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Anna and I went to USC, and John Terzian, who was, if you've listened to the pod for a long time, he's been on. He has, strong opinions about many things, and also a fellow Trojan. And John and two friends of his, Keyshawn Johnson, also Trojan, like a superstar at USC, and
Number
Avi,
one draft pick.
yeah, and Avi Chesed, who also went to USC. What years did you graduate, Avi?
2003.
Okay, so similar to us. They have
glory
recently formed the Tommy Group, which is basically a money machine to make sure USC wins national titles. Is that fair?
I wouldn't classify it that way. I mean, these two might. I think
We're
I
starting
think,
to
I think
put
what-
together the
I think
machine.
what
It's
we're
not
doing is what
active.
is the You all know what NIL stands for, right?
No.
Name, image, likeness.
Okay.
And the purpose was to actually, do justice by, athletes, all athletes in college and high school, everything. But really, we're talking college here, to have them be able to legally be paid for people profiting off of their brand. And so what we're really doing, we all came together as alumni, as supporters of not only the football team, all of them. We're doing volleyball, basketball, all these deals, but specifically for SC, we came together to bring the right deals in.
Yeah.
And so we're doing that.
But is it for the purpose of, we know that these players are taken advantage of, and this is their chance to monetize their likeness?
absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, when you play, your revenue sharing is zero. Well, it was zero.
Yeah.
Right? Jerseys, like you said, name, likeness, image, video games, jerseys, ticket sales, interviews, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Think about it. When I was in school, I remember vividly at a press conference. And at the press conference, there was the Gatorade behind me.
Yeah.
I didn't get a nickel
Yeah.
from that, right? But Gatorade paid our university
Yeah.
to advertise. I got zero.
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity now for our group to assist in helping the student athlete take advantage of the situation with their name, image, and likeness.
Yeah.
Something that should have been done many, many years ago. Now, in certain regions of the country, it was being done, but it was being done differently.
Yeah. So
certain regions of the
expand on
country.
that.
CC, University of Alabama.
Well, I mean,
There was a wink in there for
there's a certain region, in the middle of the country,
Yeah.
where they
We won't
kind
name names.
of went against the rules for many, many years.
Yeah.
And
How come
and
those schools never got punished, and then like Reggie Bush got screwed?
Oh.
well, Reggie Bush's situation was a little bit different. Those schools have gotten hit before.
Yeah.
They get hit before.
Yeah.
But when you have the leader of all coaches in the SEC, and I'm not saying Nick Saban, and I'll say it, I'm not saying Nick Saban's cheating or cheated or anything like that, but when you have a group of coaches, fraternity, in a certain conference that don't tell on each other or say anything, it just goes underneath the rug.
Oh, that's nice.
Reggie's was an atrocity.
Yeah, Reggie's was different.
Standard
though.
Reggie.
It was a little bit different.
My theory, and correct me if I'm wrong,
and we was rolling then too.
Yeah.
So people was jealous.
Yeah, people were jealous of him and
true.
us.
Because you guys are the experts. I always thought the journalist who covers Alabama, that's their only job. So they can't bust the players. So the incentives are aligned that even if they caught the player, I'm using Alabama, I'm not picking on them, but name your
it
small
just
town
feels
school.
right.
Because it doesn't make sense. I've never been to Alabama, but it doesn't make sense that every kid in the country would go to
So
the
my
school.
point is, if you're the LA Times reporter, you got to cover the Lakers, you got to cover the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So you don't mind busting USC guy.
Well, they also historically are against SC.
Sure.
Pretty clear out there.
Yeah, the way the whole USC Reggie Bush thing kind of went down, you had the guy from the University of Miami. It was like a whole deal. We were the hottest brand going at the time, winning in the hunt every single year. Celebrities on the sidelines. You bring a kid from Texas, or we can bring a kid from anywhere out of state. And if we didn't want him, that was the only way he was going back. If we wanted him, he was going to SC.
Yeah.
And so people start to point the finger and again, Reggie's situation was a little bit different than most people's, because the university didn't have anything to do with Reggie's situation.
Got it.
Right.
Got it.
So it was a little bit different.
So let me ask you a question. So like in the actual like business of what's happening. So these universities make fortune on sports. So in the NIL situation, are universities sharing revenue with the players yet, or nothing? Like Gatorade sponsors USC. Do the kids get nothing?
No, there's a separation. Also, universities cannot get involved in NIL.
Okay.
So Avi here is being very humble, but how we all kind of came about is Avi was really doing a lot of supporting of the team financially. I'll let you speak on it, but a lot more under the radar in a real way for NIL. And that's when he wasn't getting any credit, and that's when we all came together. We all have a relationship. There's a group of us. There's Avi, is the guy Mike, Alex Holmes, who was on the championship teams, Dave Stromberg, who's big music manager. Yeah. Myself. So, and then a handful of kind of alum that are with us as well. And they were going about this all under the radar, no credibility. And we were hearing about all these other collectives out there. Great for them, but they were all very like donor based.
Yeah.
And we came in and said, we're going to do the real version, which is the NIL. And to my knowledge, we're the only ones doing it. It's all good. At the end of the day, it's all to get the players compensated.
And so like, there's a lot of founders who listen to this podcast. So what is the benefit to a company? Just pure math. Like, how do they benefit? How are kids working with the companies? And then like, what are the prices like to work with athletes? Like if you felt like, hey, I sell supplements, and obviously a collegiate athlete would be a great partner for a supplement. How do you engage with them?
Okay, so there's a lot of tiers to that question. The answer is a little complicated. What we're out to do is to get players paid in the right way, just like Ter said. But right now, it's very much, how like the 80-20 rule is. In college athletics, it's more like 99-1, right? There's like a 1% that are really getting paid anything like a living wage. And for us, it was more like, okay, we want to look at more than just the, Caleb Williams of the world. There's obviously the superstars that even without us, they get paid hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. And we wanted to figure out a way to get the rest of them in a kosher way paid and endorsed by brands that didn't involve the, let's say, call it money laundering of the boosters. Because a lot of the other schools, don't want to point fingers, a lot of the other schools, what they do is they just take money from boosters and then they say, okay, do a post and then, get $50,000. But it doesn't really get the benefit. I mean, that's not a $50,000 benefit to that booster in any way or to his company.
It's just a way to just get money to the kids.
It's a way to get money to the kids and a way to get players wanting to come.
Where
to
was
a
that
program.
at when I was playing?
How much did you get?
Nothing, zero.
Nothing.
You
Not
just
zero.
opened the pod saying you got paid.
No. I'm saying as a joke.
Let's retract.
Although I did, as I tell people, I did live in the Wilshire corridor, so
Oh, okay.
He was early on the NIL. A
So just to
visionary.
quickly sum up, it's a way that we could get the balance of the players, like those that are USD athletes that are great athletes and great sportsmen in their own right, and women, to kind of share in the revenue as well. So what we look for is like group deals, and if it's like a clothing line, we're doing a deal now with a jeans company where we're going to have 40 of the players run around the field and actually practice wearing jeans just to show
cool.
how comfortable it is.
Yeah.
And these players are not going to get $100,000 each, but if they can pay their rent for a couple of months, that's fantastic, and we've kind of done our job.
Yeah.
So
I think it's the greatest school. I'm obviously biased. I think we're in the greatest city in the world.
Yeah.
That combo makes the ability for any of these kids, whether they're on football, basketball, volleyball, the ability to be kind of rock stars. And given what we all know, especially my day job with dealing with brands are always looking for stuff. And so this is a nice, easier barrier of entry, especially, by the way, going into like recession and stuff. Brands are looking for creative ways to get their stuff out there with not the $1 million price tag. So it's a good way to get a hyper focused demo.
Yeah.
Which is this, especially going into, let's talk about football season because that's key. And so that's kind of what's going on. And so we did a handful of deals, and then we launched the podcast, which is a major part of it. It's called Almost Pro, and it's USC football, and that's a way of an NIL deal for these kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So
with ad dollars.
Oh, okay. That's amazing. And so like I think the interesting thing is like everyone's looking to spend money to like obviously promote their business. And like, I guess if you're a small business, is there ways to work with these athletes? Because here's basically, I mean, I've been fortunate. I've got to work with like incredible athletes in all the years in the apparel business. And like, because of personal relationships, I understood what the price, would cost. And I think like when you just listen to the fact like, oh, I would love to work with so-and-so on the volleyball team. Like people just think that's out of their reach. Like how do you like quantify, like give a number to people
more in reach than people think it is, because these are, look at the players that played this last Saturday. There were a couple of players you've never heard of that breakouts, and their lives changed that day.
On here was early on one of them.
Yeah.
Zachariah Branch.
Day one.
I told everyone this
I'm
guy's
gonna give
gonna
him
be
credit.
beast.
He called it.
Yeah.
Zachariah Branch killed it, and
We had him
he's
on the
going to
pod.
be.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you that if you call Tommy Group, if you message us or email us, and you want Zachariah Branch to do some kind of promotion for your restaurant or something or clothes, it's a lot more in line with what your budget is than Pat Mahomes would be, right?
Yeah.
So
We have a one sheet on it. It's all dialed in. We have a whole situation going.
And I also think the interesting thing is, at least just looking from the outside, it feels like the women in the NIL are actually getting paid probably close to the most.
That girl from Miami.
Yeah,
Social media.
She was making millions.
Yeah, the women influencer
Right.
speaks to a different audience.
Yeah.
I mean, it just does.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, it should be that way.
Yeah.
I mean, really, honestly, should be that
Yeah.
way. And I think you got girls that are in college, and you have youngins that look up to that. That one day they can be in that position, where years ago that wasn't the case.
Yeah, which is a pretty awesome opportunity, because I feel like women's sports generally are underfunded and don't like. I think at your guys' event, I talked to the coach of the women's volleyball, and he was telling me he lost a player for like $2,000 or $1,000 to like Texas A&M or something like that. I was like, $1,000,
Right.
which is so crazy.
there's a coach that shall remain nameless that approached me about a year ago and was discussing how with about $1 million, he could basically guarantee 10 wins a season
In what sport?
in football.
Wow.
And I'm like, how is that possible? $1 million gets you nowhere. And he's like, well, where my school is located, it's a great area, great demographic. They love the weather. The kids love coming there. The problem is it's far for a lot of these parents to come see the games. So if we can just do nothing but pick up their flights,
Yeah.
this school would be a different program.
Wow.
It's funny you said that. So when I was being recruited And I went all the way to the SEC from Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I was being recruited, and I really wanted to go to this particular school. And, you know, I get on the plane, I fly some long ways. I'm like, damn, this shit's far. But I'm like, yeah, you know, how my parents and my brother and people, my mom, and everybody gonna come. So when I got into the final meeting, the exit meeting with the head coach and the position coach and offensive coordinator, and I told him, I said, hey, what's holding you back from committing? I said, what's far? I can't, what am I gonna do? True story, God be my witness. Dude reaches behind the desk, opens up the briefcase.
Yeah.
It might have been, at this time, I don't know what it was, $350,000 all cash.
Yeah.
He said, that's not a problem at all. Seriously, true story.
Yeah.
Not a problem at all. Boom, bam, turned it, you know, I'm looking at it, I'm like,
So good.
you know, so good, right? I mean, it's like,
I'd be like, great. Mom and Dad,
so I
So
committed.
after you took it, what happened?
No, I committed. I didn't take the money. I committed, but I flew home. And that flight was still far for me, you know?
Yeah.
And then I just was like, no. But like he said, when you remove, how are your parents going to get there?
Yeah.
How's it going to happen? So when we now go and get a kid from Texas or get a kid from Mississippi or Alabama, whatever, they don't have to really worry about that with the NIL in place.
Yeah.
As long as they are producing at a level in which they can earn a certain amount of money because of the NIL, then they'll be able to have their families fly all over the country to every single game.
Which is pretty awesome.
And remember, the average player does not. I mean, $1,000 is a lot of money for them. It really is.
Yeah, the average player. The average player, $1,000 is a lot.
Yeah.
Because what are you getting? I don't even know what the stipends are now. $2,000 still? $2,500?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Just
you
getting
add
back
that
to the
on
question,
top.
it's like, you know, so you pay that guy $3,000, he's going to do it. You know, as long as it's something he wants to do.
Yeah, as long as it's aligned with what. Yeah.
And it's exposure.
brand.
Yeah.
Brand building for them.
Yeah. And so do all Tommy Group players just like, how do they get access into all the H-Wood properties? How does it work?
That's a big perk.
They got to be old enough, first of all.
First of all.
Right,
You go to the restaurants.
Very important
You
to
can go
know.
to the
Very important
restaurants.
to know.
Yeah, they got to be old enough to
Very
get in.
You know what's pretty fascinating? Because like,
Hell, I couldn't get in. I had to buy a membership.
yeah, trust me.
And then on top of that, I had to wait 4 months and then wait another 6 months.
All you guys together. All of you had to.
He's still upset at the Bird Street's membership.
Yeah. Hey, Avi, what's up with the membership? Oh, let me call Terz. I'll tell you in a minute.
Very strict there.
You know?
Trust me, we know. We're fully aware of their ridiculous process at this company.
What are you? We're friend. We're part. Yeah. Well, everybody's got to go
I'm
through this.
marking all of you part of the
Even
rule of Bird
Madonna
Street to not
goes.
speak about Bird Street.
Even
by the way.
Madonna got
All
to
of you are
go.
marked.
Even Obama goes through this. Oh, okay. The president goes through it. I got it.
What's interesting about these kids, a lot of the superstars in college sports are getting paid. And I'll use Caleb as an example because I get to see him in and around LA. It's unbelievable that he's made already life-changing money and he's still so focused, which is what, like, if you looked at like the old rules of the sport, they would tell you, oh, these kids are getting an education. I went to USC. I didn't even get a fucking education. And I went there for education. I didn't go there for sports.
Caleb's a rare breed, though. That's why he's there.
So
He's a real
you
one.
don't think all those other kids in other schools are like him, like where he seems so grounded?
And they're 18 years old. What were you at 18?
I was an idiot.
Remember,
But I'm
Caleb's
just saying-
21.
Most of the kids, though, that are on the Caleb money-grabbing front, they're all going to be focused because this money
For the
is
most
no
part.
money.
Yeah.
This money ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Compared to what they could earn if they stay focused. So
Yeah.
a lot of them, when you're talking about 7 figures in a short period of time, because 2 years ago, Caleb wasn't going to be a 7-figure guy.
Yeah.
But because of a year ago and Heisman and all that, it just takes him to another level.
Yeah.
He's so close to getting that $30 million, $40, $50 million guarantee money. He's got to stay focused.
Yeah.
You can't stop at whatever he's making, $4 or $5 million. No, you can't stop there because the prize is at the end of the day.
It's also just
know,
in
but,
him.
like,
It's
we
also
know-
just in him.
Yeah.
He's one of those,
but
like,
most guys,
It's just
though,
in him. It's not even about that.
Like if you
money.
give a kid, $1 million record deal in LA, he's blowing it all at Bootsie's.
He
It's
is.
over.
Yeah,
that may-
It's done.
but
We'll
that
never
may-
see him
but
again.
that may,
I may or
but
may
that
not
may
have
be,
partaken in
but
some
that
issues
may
with that.
be the case. He may blow it all at Delilah's. I mean, that just may be the case.
Well, by the way, that's
It's a
perfect.
combination. It's
I call it
Delilah,
blowing
Bootsy,
it.
So this is just a
But
money
that
laundering
doesn't
scheme for
mean-
H-Wood.
but
Get
because-
these kids paid and they come back to your
But
venues.
because-
Big NIL deal.
He's got to stay focused because the prize is in the end. The prize isn't right now.
Yeah.
No one, look, at the end of the day, we want our kids, our Trojan want our kids to have some financial literacy to understand that you can put this money away, you can do certain things with this money, but that's not going to be the case because they see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
So they're going to spend it.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. They ain't got no money.
I
Yeah.
think the hope is that now that it's organized and you guys have leaders like you to educate the kids, because I was a student at USC during the Matt Reggie years. So there was the peak phenomenon, like I was junior, senior when they were winning titles. And there were guys that off the books were clearly getting paid. You could see what the cars they were driving.
Yeah.
Don't need to name names.
Alleged.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
And they didn't make it.
No.
And these
But they-
guys were
but-
world-class athletes.
But they probably were not focused enough to
That's what
make
I'm
it. But
saying.
that didn't deter them because they was in the car.
But-
It probably wasn't even good enough either.
By the way,
everybody's not going to make it.
Yeah.
And USC gets a lot of hits on that, but like everyone seems to forget the UCLA basketball team back in the day that were all driving the craziest cars and doing whatever, and no one seems to talk about that.
Or
They
UNLV.
didn't really pan out.
You know anything
I mean-
about UNLV basketball?
Yeah, of
I know
course.
from
From the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the early 90s.
Yeah.
I would venture to say, just because I know Caleb so well, and Caleb is a different breed. It's not about anything other than that's his love of the game and that's who he is. I've gotten to know a handful. The kid under him that's going to be a quarterback coming up, Malachi, same sort of drive. But I don't know Arch Manning, never met him. What I see, I feel like he has that same drive going. You can just see how they're carrying themselves. You know,
Yeah, but
like these kids, the kids that are making it of a different thing.
What's the kid? B. John Robinson from Texas. The
B.
running
John,
back.
Yeah.
He had a Lamborghini
Yeah,
and a ton of money.
he had a mustard too.
What, a mustard color one?
No, he had a mustard that came out.
A brand.
Oh, a mustard, a brand.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
thought
wow.
you meant like a mustard color
No,
Lamborghini.
it's
Dijon,
one of the
Dijon,
greatest NIL
right?
deals.
That's smart.
But think about it. He did all that in Austin, Texas, and he still finished the deal and was a #1 pick, and he's getting ready to get chipped off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
You can stay
impressive.
focused.
These kids are more impressive than previous generations because I think
I'm not going to say that. And the reason I'm not going to say that,
Yeah.
Because he's part of the last generation.
because how do I do it from a lawyer standpoint? There are certain people that were able to take advantage of the system
Yeah.
Yeah.
when I played
Yeah.
and was taken care of with extra benefits
Yeah.
and still became the #1 overall pick
Yeah.
in the National Football League.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Not to be named.
Not to be named. So when you think about it,
Okay,
it's
that's fair.
all about the individual, like Terz is saying.
Yeah,
If
it
the
is.
individual is focused in, it doesn't matter. You can give me $1 billion.
Yeah.
If I want to fucking run through a wall and play football and stay focused on doing it,
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. Hey, Arthur Smith, head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. You know
Yeah.
who his dad is?
No.
His dad started FedEx.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's why would I ever, right, Terz?
Yeah.
My dad's FedEx. Why in the hell would I ever want to coach?
Right.
But that was what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
So rather than lean on his dad, he said, I want to coach him and stay focused. He knows at the end of the day, got several billion
Yeah.
sitting there for him.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I agree. I think it's all impressive. I think people who still have that drive with all the kind
Obviously,
of
like I
resources.
would never. I'll be
Got me thinking about a FedEx NIL deal.
750.
How do I put FedEx on the front of the yacht?
So
Hey, that's the Avi FedEx shot.
You're actually a connection away from a FedEx NIL deal.
Me?
Yeah?
I am?
We could talk about it off the pod.
Yeah, can we
Okay.
take a
I like
number,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah,
Get,
and I-
get some of the receivers paid.
Yeah.
I already thought of the campaign too.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very
Ooh.
worth it, guys.
I think the other thing that's interesting because John's been on the pod before and we've talked a lot about you guys and your guys' story as a business. The thing that I always find very interesting, and I'm curious to see how it impacts your players. Like you guys are all very connected. I know John better than both of you. John's extremely well connected, like cream of the crop. One of the things I wonder is like how much time do you spend with these people on like I know you do a lot for Caleb just because you do it because you want to?
Friends with, yeah.
Yeah, friends with, and you would just help.
Yeah.
How do they understand like the gravity of those things, like the players, like when you're like putting them in the room and introducing them to people? Like, I know who you have them around. It's like, it's insane human beings. Do they understand it?
I don't know. I think so. I mean, for the most part, someone like Caleb does in the family, and they're an insane family. So I only do stuff based on relationships. These two are the same way. So when I'm friends with someone, I'm just friends with them. It's not about anything other than friendship in that regard. I don't know about others. How, I'm telling you, Caleb's a rare breed. He's mature, wise beyond years.
Most of them are very humble.
Most of them seem pretty great.
Yeah, even just meeting a lot of the kids at the event.
From
some of them had
Lincoln
business
is
cards.
a fantastic being as a coach for these guys. Overall, they just have a great thing going right now.
Yeah.
I think to Keyshawn's point about the individual, and that's why I was so bullish on Zachariah before he had the first game. He came by the office and he was talking about building a foundation for homeless people.
Right.
And I'm like, you're 17, 18 years old already thinking about that?
Yeah, I did not give a fuck about it.
I was like,
18.
you are have a maturity level. And he was talking about his workouts. He was like, oh, my dad's workouts are harder than college football
buy
workouts.
Zachariah options. I'm telling you, that kid's going far.
Yeah.
It's a good example. A kid like that.
So if businesses want to reach out, how do they do it? Where should they go?
Website. We have
Tommy Group.
Yeah, Twitter, X,
Instagram.
The Tommy
But
Group.
what's the name of the website?
Tommy, give yourself. Key.
You're supposed to tell them the name of the site. That's how you do it.
You guys have an Instagram handle, right?
We do.
Yeah.
So people can DM you. And what's the handle?
Absolutely.
It's just the Tommy Group. I'll send
The
it to you.
TommyGroup.IG or something.
And
like
the
that.
website is thetommygrp.com.
And then the podcast, you guys just launched it.
we just launched it, and that is
Almost Pro.
almost
USC
pro.
football.
Available Spotify,
Everywhere.
Apple, everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere, yeah. And the title is fitting. We're gonna have some great guest names. We're gonna have some great guest people on it. Some great co-hosts. It'll be fun.
So even if you're not into USC football, you'd still enjoy listening to it.
That's the goal. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be It's supposed to be this we're having a player of the week who breakout player of the week, and then mainstay host. Yogi Roth is one of the hosts. Caleb's co-hosting on some of them. Our guy Keyshawn's gonna host one or more if we get him to. There's gonna be more on. We're gonna have some.
He called it like a barbershop kind of chat, just banter. And
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it should be fun.
that's not, we just chill, have fun.
Yeah.
Not hey, how are you today? How was the game last night? No. Just want to be able to sit down and have a
Interesting
conversation.
stories,
He's a white man interviewer, is always on point.
A white man interview.
I've enjoyed your FS1 clips.
The clips? Oh, new. Yeah.
It's been blockbuster
We're excited
content.
about it.
It's he said FS1 clips. I was like, huh? But no, it's fun.
That's the network, right?
No, but brand new. What is this? Thursday, Wednesday, 3 days.
That's FS1
Wow.
plug. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
He's already made 3 people cry.
no, nobody cry. It was it's just been
It's
interesting.
blockbuster content, let me tell you.
Well, we're having fun though. It's really all it's about is having fun, giving information, and making people smile.
That's good.
Avi,
Making me
we didn't
smile.
get your background.
Grew up in South Africa, then Israel, came here after the army, went to USC. I was a rugby player in South Africa.
Wow.
And I was I looked at football as what are these wusses doing, right? Helmets and pads, what's up with that?
Yeah.
And then I realized that the only reason they have helmets and pads is because 7 people would die every snap if they didn't have those on.
Yeah.
And I started following it. I realized it was more like a chess game than anything else. And the smarter coach would usually win. And I became obsessed. And that's the exact time where, Carson Palmer was quarterback. And then, after I graduated, Leonard and Bush, and I just became obsessed with that. And, 20 years of, fintech, couple exits under my belt, kind of dedicating the rest of my life to, having fun with the sports.
Wow. That's a great place to be.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
Congratulations.
Thank you, man.
John, what else you
No,
got
he's super
going on?
rich.
I figured. He's not in this room with you for 2 if he's not super rich.
If the IRS is listening,
He lives behind 4 gates.
We're good. We're just focusing on Delilah Miami and
When's that opening?
Zach on big tour. Drake
Yeah,
tour.
when is that opening?
Delilah Miami is going to open in November.
Okay.
A very right before Art Basel, which is in first week of December.
Not a
So,
weekend, during the
It'll
week.
be right after the regular season, so be a nice time for
No,
some
but
of the guys to
is it
come.
going to open on? Is it going to open on a weekend,
The Tommy
or
group
is it
trip.
going to open on a weekend? You just don't know the day.
It'll be a weekday. It'll be like a Thursday.
Weekday.
We'll go
Maybe
together.
a Friday.
We'll be
Maybe
No,
a
I
Friday,
got to
Keith.
work. That's why I'm asking.
You know
Take
what?
that
I'm
weekend
gonna-
off. You're sick. COVID.
We're gonna schedule it around you,
No
Keyshawn.
COVID.
A Friday is doable for you, right?
Friday is definitely a doable. Friday is certainly a doable.
Yeah.
That's what I was
You
saying.
need
know?
to be at the Miami opening.
Oh, pff,
Come on.
yeah.
We'll
Solo?
What?
You said solo?
No, I'm saying you. Come
Oh,
on.
I thought you meant come solo
No,
to Miami.
no.
I don't know if that was going to fly, but okay.
And then how's Zach doing? We were watching all the
Zach,
clips all over the
another
world.
a great Trojan. Yeah, he's doing well. He's on Drake's tour.
yeah.
Zach
killing
Bia
it. Yeah.
for people.
Yeah, new album's doing well, and it's been good for him. Good ride.
That's amazing. It's an insane look he has.
Insane. He's had Post Malone tour and Drake World tour in the same year, essentially. So the kid,
Incredible.
What a life.
cool.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you,
thank you.
guys.
I mean, Tommy Group, it should be like, there's a chance you could be Zach Bia.
Exactly.
I bet you on Earth, more kids want to be Zach Bia than Caleb Williams.
No doubt.
Well, Caleb has to get hit. Zach doesn't have to get hit.
What I'm thinking is, because they're good friends, a little combo for them after the season. Do a little tour.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Little
That'd be
Caleb
amazing.
Bia DJ tour.
we were looking at like celebrities to invite to the pod, and someone mentioned destroying.
Yeah.
You're-
Yeah, of course.
And
no idea
yeah,
who Zach
Key and I
is.
look at each other going, "Who the hell is that?" And we just realized we're old,
I have
Yeah.
no
and
idea.
they're more
He's huge.
interested in destroying than Will Ferrell.
yeah.
I have no
100%.
idea who Zach anybody is.
Yeah.
What?
Zach should-
That's the myth of Zach.
Yes.
Like, I have no idea. Like, he could be right there. I'm like, he might be.
might be.
He's a young legend, DJ, and has
Oh, I
a
met him
record
at,
label.
I met him at Edgewood, I think.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. He's a little.
Didn't you manage him or something?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
This
okay.
is John's.
I still don't know
John's
who he is.
gonna
but
make.
yeah.
John has to make a movie about Zach one
John's
day.
Zach's
Zach's
dad.
No, if I
If
remember
you
him,
Google Zach Bia, John's his dad.
It
no, I
does come
remember
up.
him introducing me, but I don't know about DJs and follow them. So
Yeah.
Now you will.
It's a very interesting, magnificent.
It's
Follow.
it's insane.
It is quite fascinating. Well, thank you
Thank
guys.
you guys. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Guys,
Tommy
it's been
Group.
awesome.
Perfect.
And
And we're big fans of the pod, so
Thank
guys,
you.
Very
Thank you.
honored to be here.
Oh, thank you. All right, guys. Well, thanks for the Tommy Group for coming on. You know where the money should go.
That was a fun segment.
It was fun, especially for us because we went to the school and are huge fans of USC. And what's exciting to see is that, like, you could potentially, if you're a brand owner, you could potentially get insane exposure for pretty low dollar amount.
Yeah.
Like, think about like for example, like I'm thinking beauty brands, apparel, basically anything that appeals to like Gen Z. There are like women and men at USC that have insane followings,
Mhm.
right? From like maybe because of who their parents are, or for whatever reason they've built crazy followings. And like for a reasonable amount of money, you could actually get like crazy reach and potentially find a new audience for your product.
Yeah, I always think niche, small followings are better than large followings of just A-list superstars. That's
Yeah,
why
like-
so many like A-list stars never can sell product.
Like if you have a a tennis player at USC with 10,000 followers, those 10,000 people follow them because they are a tennis player at USC.
Or they follow, they are just obsessed with this person.
Yeah.
If you're going to follow a college tennis player,
Yeah.
you're not doing that because, oh, it's The Rock. I just want to see what The Rock's doing.
Yeah.
You're all invested.
Yeah.
in,
I love it. I actually think there's like a great arb right now for brands to be like investing in things like this for pretty reasonable amounts of money.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So if you're a brand owner, I think collegiate sports is a really interesting, especially because USC, like, you might end up sponsoring someone who's friends with Kylie Jenner. I don't know. It's just like, that's USC. Like
Yeah.
the kids who go to USC are insane.
And you can get an H-Wood reservation.
Yeah. And that's more important. You get to be close to John for maybe 5 G's. Which, given my access to John, it's worth every penny.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, we're gonna get into some business news. So I think the big news that I saw that I think was finally kind of coming to fruition. There's two big pieces of news. There was only 8.5 million job openings, even though that sounds like a staggering number. Last month there was 9.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 million less job openings than fewer than expected. And so you're seeing either job listings pulled or more people are going back to work. I think it's a combination of both. And then you're seeing job growth slowed. So they were expecting 200,000 jobs to be added in August. It's only 177,000.
Yeah, Jay Powell must love those 23,000 people that couldn't get jobs.
Yeah, fuck them. Good for interest rates, right? That's probably what he's saying. And I think the challenge now is if this trajectory continues and that positive goes to negative, which it won't happen in Q4 because there's seasonal adjustments because of seasonal jobs, specifically at retail.
Yeah.
But Q1 does seem like the moment that the job market does flip and goes negative.
If you look at some of the big people in finance that have large Twitter followings or large platforms, they're all signaling this. And it's obviously they're talking their own book.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to get the Fed's attention, like calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
Because the stock market pretty much is waiting for interest rates to cut for a sustained long rally.
Yeah.
And they're trying to yell the warning signs that hey, the economy is way softer than you guys think, the Fed, meaning you guys as the Federal Reserve, because the Federal Reserve thinks everything's on fire still. Yeah. And just because unemployment isn't high, we generally hear things are soft.
Yeah.
We're not in a recession.
No.
We're not in this downward economy where it's doom and gloom.
Yeah, but spending has contracted.
Spending has contracted. I was telling you, I was looking for a New York ticket in December. And what do you think? The price I told you, was 40% cheaper than it probably would have been a year ago?
Yeah. You're definitely seeing prices drop across in travel for sure. You're finally seeing prices drop. The thing is where I'm not seeing, I'm starting to see some of the restaurants that we take the kids, happy hours come back. There was never a happy hour at some of these restaurants.
Because they want the deal?
Yeah, people they have a happy hour menu and they're marketing it because they know they're slow during these hours and maybe they are slower at dinner, so they're marketing because they're not contracting the regular prices yet. I haven't gone anywhere I'm oh, that's a great deal. That's not happening yet, but you are seeing to me, the gauge for me is gas and restaurants. Gas is through the roof.
Yep.
So that is an inflationary problem that the economy still is facing, and restaurants inflation is still rampant. You're paying more for food everywhere. And so those things haven't gone away. So that's one concern. The other thing that a lot of people keep talking about is so many of the wealthier side of Americans, and I'm not saying that's the rich, but anyone who has cash has their money in a money market.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so that money market is now earning 5%.
More, I think.
Yeah, it depends on where you bank. But let's say in the low end, it's earning 5%. And some of these other places, it's even higher.
Yeah, they've seen the largest inflow of money market investing in decades.
Yeah, it's trillions of dollars that are now in. So there is more cash people have because of that. So it's a pretty hard thing to figure out for the Fed because all this money in money market. And then, so there are people with a little bit more cash than they usually have, but we are seeing a certain cohort. And then I read an article how blue collar jobs are on fire and the wages are on fire. You're seeing significant wage growth in blue collar jobs. People that were earning $20 an hour are now earning 25, which is a 25% increase.
Yep.
Which is meaningful. Can they complain that they're not earning enough money and they still are struggling to pay their bills? Of course. I'm not saying that they're earning a wage that's livable, but they got a bump.
Yeah, I think we've talked about how this is a white collar recession.
Yeah.
For 2 years now. That because people aren't filling a lot of these hourly jobs.
Yeah.
They have to keep raising the price. You work at a restaurant, you probably make $20, $25 an hour.
Yeah.
That probably was 50% lower in 10 years ago.
Yeah. So I think like, yeah, I think the key will be like the wage growth, and
I think wage growth exists in the hourly jobs. It's not existing at the high end.
no, yeah, that is tapered down dramatically. Like,
I mean, you're hiring people. Are
Yeah.
the costs?
yeah, it's definitely come down. Like what people were demanding, and then if we countered, they just said no. But now they're at the table being, okay, where can I give, to make this happen? And we've had several like very high paying, in certain positions, take a big pay cut to come work for us as well for
Right.
the opportunity. And so I think like it all depends. I think the good news is I actually think the fact that blue collar wages are growing, that actually might counterbalance like on the economy side.
Yep.
Like where there's enough money on one segment of the market for discretionary spending to continue. The other big news is SEC allowed for a Bitcoin ETF finally.
Well, so the two things happened. Grayscale, which was one of the original
Yeah.
ETF filers in the SEC, was getting sued by the SEC, saying that that they don't have enough protections or whatnot. And that lawsuit got overturned 2 days ago.
Yep.
So in a matter of like 10 minutes,
Yeah.
Bitcoin shot up like 10-11%.
Hmm.
Coinbase was up 16%.
Yeah.
Ethereum was up 10-11%.
Yeah.
And everyone's expecting this week that BlackRock's going to get their ETF approved. BlackRock doesn't file unless they know it's buttoned up.
Yeah. They're not.
The $9 trillion
and it's
assets under
already
management.
been known that they've already started accumulating their position.
Yes. And I think the cost base is like 23,000,
Yeah.
something like that. And yeah, I mean, it's just like staring you in the face if you're an investor. This is not financial advice.
Yeah.
If the U.S. government is stamping Bitcoin as a real asset class,
Yeah.
what do you think is going to happen?
What do you think?
There will be a higher number of buyers than sellers. And what happens to the price when that in economics when you have larger demand than supply?
I've told that things go up.
Yes.
I think the other interesting thing is that now that this is happening, you're starting to see like who are the largest holders and wallets. Like there was like a mystery wallet of 3 billion. It was Robinhood.
Yep.
There's and like who are the other?
I think it was the third biggest wallet.
Yeah.
on
So
the
this whole
chain.
company is betting on. What's because the market cap of Robinhood is what now? Is it even $10 billion?
It's probably right around there. But the thing just to note,
10 billion.
when you think about wallets, there's a lot of Bitcoin held in cold storage. So the biggest holders, you don't even know they own.
So you can't track that.
You can't track that. And there's so many transactions that happen over the counter that don't. So basically, if you're BlackRock, they're going to one of these massive over the counter organizations. DWR is one of them based in Chicago. There's a handful of others. And they just want to accumulate, 10 billion today because you can transact that much.
Yeah.
And they don't want to do it on Coinbase or any of these exchanges because you'll move the market
Yeah.
if you see that much demand. So people have been quietly buying. I mean, dude, 6 years ago, I remember just talking to one of these over-the-counter companies. I was like, I just said, theoretically, if you wanted to buy $1 billion of Bitcoin, this is 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Could you do it in one day? They said, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what do you think the number is today?
Yeah. So
Crazy.
but this is like off market.
Off market.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely more interest today than there was 5 years ago. What's interesting, it feels like a lot of retail is not going to be as usual.
This is when the sophisticated money makes the bag.
Yeah. Because most
retail got smoked and they're not coming back in. They're too scarred. They're too scared.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. If you lost in Bitcoin, Dogecoin,
NFTs,
Shibu Coin, NFTs,
Stock
GameStop,
market.
AMC,
Yeah.
you have no money left.
Yeah. You got creamed.
You got creamed in like 3 months.
Yeah. That's too bad.
Retail Joe, you need to bring him back.
I'll bring him back.
What's he doing?
I'm at TGI Fridays.
Happy hour?
Well, no. Managing.
Managing.
Yeah.
Oh, at least you're a manager.
Managers make $100,000 now.
Yeah. Retail Joe, save that money.
I'm telling you, I think like I when you look at like entry level jobs in corporate America, and then you look at like when you go to a restaurant, you see, you know, they say we're hiring for these positions. Managers at these restaurants are making 6 figures.
Yes. Waiters are making 60, 70,000.
Dude, in LA, way more.
Yeah.
They're making 6 figures. Like, there's such a opportunity. Like, it's the same thing. Like, you sent that TikTok of the UPS driver, or
How good was that?
Anthony?
Yeah.
He's wearing a Dior shirt, Cartier bracelet,
And 10K cash fell out of his pocket.
Yeah,
he pulled up with a Lamborghini truck.
Yeah, but like, think about it. Like, how many people do we know that make? I know their entire package is 170,000. I think you get to like 125 pretty easily. Like, if you don't live in LA or New York City and you make that kind of money, you live an incredible fucking life.
Oh yeah.
I'm saying like it's such an opportunity. Like, I know everyone wants to work on AI and fucking cool companies.
Forget that. Like, think about how many people, like, you remove like the top handful of schools.
Yeah.
If you're in like a mid-tier college and you're studying, I don't know, the arts, history,
Yeah.
you're maxing out at 40K out of college.
Yeah, probably 50K. Yeah.
Max.
Yeah.
That's if you can get a job.
Yeah. But you could pull up the TGIF, make six figures.
6 figures at TGIFs, 170,000 at UPS.
Yeah. The managers at restaurants are making bank now because the wages have gone up so much.
Yeah, and tips are
obviously,
real.
it's a tough job. It's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. But like, if you want to make 6 figures anywhere,
if you're a personable person, it's a no-brainer.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like, think about it. You're graduating high school and you go be a waiter. You could be a manager in 2 years.
And you'll make way more than 90% of college, 95% of college grads.
Yeah. I mean, like,
university
think
grads.
about it. All the top consulting firms, they've kicked everyone to another year. They're not hiring anyone.
No one's hiring.
Yeah.
Those 6-figure out of college jobs, they aren't hiring.
No.
I mean, you were telling me a story at Harvard Business School that these kids can't even get jobs.
No. And I've interviewed so many of them and they're fucking brilliant. And they're willing to take
When's
jobs.
the first Harvard Business School UPS driver? Do you think we get one this year?
I bet you if that person did a TikTok, they'd be like the most popular. Here's why.
It would be so good. Someone should steal that idea.
You could get a Harvard Business School student for 125 grand a year.
Yeah, and you would be the most viral sensation if you post you walking across the stage at Harvard Business School and pulling up to UPS to get that uniform.
Day? Yeah. UPS would love you too.
Yeah. Good idea. Someone should steal it. I'm sure someone at Harvard Business School.
Or you should just pretend you went to Harvard Business School. No one's going to verify it anyways.
Also true.
How can you? Well, do you know what I found? I was off-put when I think one of the things that, we ask like opinions of like, oh, should we get rid of the intro, whatever. A lot of people said they didn't like the conspiracy talk and tinfoil. I find that off-putting.
Because they prefer the fake news.
They rather have fake news than what's real.
Yeah.
Real is what, and the reason why we bring that up, just so I know it's funny.
It's a joke. We're doing it
because
we know enough. I've told this a million times on this podcast. The gel-man amnesia effect. So basically, you're an expert on something. You read in the paper, and you're like, "That's totally false."
Yeah.
And then you turn the page and read something about the Israel-Palestine conflict, and you believe it as fact.
Yeah.
So why is the page before completely false and the page after completely true?
We're self-selecting what we want to believe, and I choose to believe nothing.
That's fair.
I just think everyone's full of shit. Everyone has an agenda. Everyone has a narrative to spin. And I just think about how much we talked about CoreWeave last episode. 0 people. Every time I say anything, I get 50 DMs, 100 DMs. Fucking 0 people know what CoreWeave is.
Meaning no one asked you about it?
Or even said, oh, you don't know what CoreWeave is? I worked there.
I got a text.
Okay, saying?
From Zach, who was on the pod talking about Varda.
Yeah.
He said, I love CoreWeave.
Fuck out of here, Zach. You don't know what they do. I know. Do you even know what it does? You could say I love it too, because they got BlackRock, they got the whole thing. It's a good
cooking. Hustle.
Yeah. They're probably paying Zach to tell everyone.
He said he was screaming in his car when you were talking about Varda, the episode after.
So I don't know what Varda does either, bro. You need to come on and explain it. Making shit in space.
Maybe you can explain CoreWeave, Databricks.
Let's do that. Databricks,
Snowflake, CoreWeave. What else?
Varda.
Varda. Well, he already did Varda.
I need to be here to question him. You guys are fake news, mainstream media.
What's another good one? Those are good. Datadog. Those are the 5.
Yeah, no one knows what any of those.
Yeah.
If you can clearly explain what those companies...
Come into the den and face the fire.
Yeah, face the fire. And what benefit do they have for humanity or society? That's what I want to know too.
He'll come prepared, so I think it'll be good.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. He'll do his research. Better come in, especially on Varda. And CoreWeave, we know, is just nonsense. No one believes that company. Interesting article in the Wall Street Journal. The headline, the most popular story in the Wall Street Journal today, is how to play the property meltdown. And it's talking about that there's over $205 billion on the sidelines on particularly in commercial real estate.
Yep.
And so, I mean, that is a large amount of money. And in reference in 2008, how many people made a killing on the real estate market? Residential at the time. This time it looks like it's going to be commercial real estate will be the play. I don't think anyone believes. Maybe multifamily homes also, there's an opportunity. But like with the staggering amount of money that's owed on these properties and then the amount of money that's sitting on the sidelines and then all the players that are in it, right? Like these mega real estate holding companies. I personally do not believe there'll be a commercial real estate meltdown because it just risks too much.
Well, who's going to bail out? So the only solution that I see is if you have all cash buyers. So that's sovereigns.
Yeah.
That's Saudi, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, China, Norway.
Yeah.
These large sovereign funds that is trillions and trillions of dollars that are all cash buyers.
Yeah.
Because none of these buildings pencil with the interest rate. So you basically have to have all cash and wait
till the rates drop and then take your money out.
Yes.
That's going to happen. There's so much money globally.
We're basically selling America to the rest of the world.
We sold it years ago. What do we fucking care?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a redistribution of who owns these buildings. Because we know, I know there's a lot of sovereigns in New York, but largely it's American owners, right?
Yeah. But I don't think New York is as big as a problem as like San Francisco.
San Francisco's absolutely a zero.
Yeah, I'm sure LA is a challenging market.
LA office for sure. And then multifamily will be too, because any multifamily building that was constructed in the last 2 years is underwater.
So, but there's $205 billion in dry powder in the United States, plus sovereign wealth money, which seems endless.
Yep.
So, and those people can't invest their money anywhere. Like if you had to pick between investing in like equities in like Europe or India or the Middle East or own Transamerica in San Francisco, I kind of would roll the dice with owning Transamerica. They should
get a little bolder and just put their flags, Saudi flags all over San Francisco.
Yeah, that'd be good. Like try to rob something from that store.
Different outcome.
Yeah, very different outcome. And I think because those countries, I think if I'm a sovereign fund and I'm running in XYZ country, I go to the city of San Francisco. Look, clearly we have no impact on politics the way we want it to, right? The citizens clearly do not have the power.
Yep.
Maybe if Saudi Arabia pulls up to San Francisco and says, look, we'll invest $10 billion in commercial real estate. We'll save the fucking city. But let me tell you something. When MBS comes to town, you better clean these fucking streets up.
So it's interesting, and I don't know how this could work technically. So if you are the Saudi embassy and you're in the United States, you're under Saudi law.
Yeah.
When you walk into that embassy.
Imagine if Saudi owned CVS.
And they call it and they grant them.
The people try to come in, boom, get out of here.
They grant them embassy protection to save real estate.
Yeah.
Because the laws that they abide by are very different than what the mayor of San Francisco wants.
Good luck taking that shampoo.
God.
But I do think there's a play if you're a sovereign wealth fund. Like I like as much as I don't like downtown San Francisco, it's a beautiful city. It once was a great power city. Like in the most recent future, it was a few years ago, it was like one of the most robust cities in the world, and it fell apart because of bad political reign.
It seems like a no-brainer because I know as much as you dislike San Francisco, with the AI boom, it's all there.
Yeah.
Like every investor is coming back to San Francisco to meet founders.
Yeah.
like the young Stanford 23-year-olds working on something, and everyone only wants to invest in AI.
Yeah.
And there is a buzz around investing in San Francisco founders that hasn't been there in 3 years.
Yes, but it doesn't matter if you can't walk down the street.
Agree. So I'm saying you're going to have all these kids that are going to make a fortune.
Yeah.
That
are going to come to LA. They'll be going to places
Tommy
where we hang
Trojan
out.
Group. They're buying players to get into Hwood.
Yeah, I mean that's basically
That's the circle of life.
Yeah.
Build money in San Francisco
and spend in LA.
Yeah.
Why do you think LA's not struggling? It's because all those San Francisco people came here and spent all their money. I mean, you go to a nightclub, where do you think the money's coming from?
Yeah, that's true.
And so I think unfortunately is whoever's in charge in San Francisco from clearly the technology leaders do not have an impact on the city.
The technology leaders do not.
Like the fact that Apple and Microsoft cannot get laws changed.
Salesforce, they left the building.
Yeah.
Their own building.
Yeah. Hot building. And it's just shocking to me that these very powerful companies who are like working with governments cannot change their city in their own backyard.
That's how hard local politics is.
Yeah.
Because you have the richest, like handful of richest 1,000 people in the world live in this 7 square mile city, which is the San Francisco, the actual city, and they can't do anything about it.
I know, but like look, a lot of these people can organize, they have the resources, they have the time, they have the money. You play the long game, you can change things. Like Republicans play the long game great. They want to gerrymander, put who they want on the Supreme Court. They're playing.
I mean, there's guys that have been trying. They're vocal on Twitter, like Gary Tan. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
He and a handful of folks, they're just like badgering the city of San Francisco to make it safer.
Yeah.
That's how a store clerk got killed today.
Yeah.
In downtown San Francisco.
It's insane.
It's wild.
Why would you want to work in that environment? It just does not make sense.
No, you can't.
You can't.
In city of San Francisco, there's basically like 3 areas that span like 2 miles that you can walk around in.
Yeah. It's sad. It's really sad. We'll see. What's interesting talking about commercial real estate, why I'm actually kind of bullish on it, is I do think like work from home.
So we've been wrong on this for 3 straight years.
I'll continue to be wrong. I don't give a fuck.
This is your Peloton.
This is my Peloton, and guess what happened to Peloton?
Okay.
I was right. Amazon CEO reportedly told remote employees it's probably not going to work out if that's what you want to do. I think the large companies are going to be full back in office. Meta's made it clear they want people. These are technology companies, by the way. This is not the law firm. This is not the insurance firm who traditionally have never been remote and never, this is like Amazon's the profitable business, the cloud. And they're telling their employees to get back in. Yeah. Meta, they're telling their employees. They know.
Apple too.
Apple, right? These are the technology companies of our
lifetime.
They're
the ones that could potentially work from home.
Yes. 1, they're so goddamn profitable. 2, they have the technology to actually figure out how to make this connectivity continue. And they're mandating everyone come back in the office.
I mean, the real solution, and unfortunately our government doesn't work like this, is you take the top 500 employers, bring them to DC, the CEOs, top 500 CEOs of the biggest employers, and tell them you need to tell everyone to come to the office because we have this commercial real estate disaster.
Yeah. It's patriotic to go to work.
Yeah.
You're American if you go to the office.
And they should just do a wink deal, give them some tax subsidies. Yeah. It's worth it.
It's worth it. If everyone
talking hundreds of billions of dollars in real estate value, loans that are going to be delinquent on small businesses
that get saved,
regional banks.
Yeah.
It's $1 trillion problem that can be solved for probably like 20 billion in subsidies.
By the way, crime goes away too.
Yeah, because people are there.
Yeah. It's staggering to me that like the problem is there's so many people are fighting going back to the office. It's insane. So many people do not.
I think I just came up with the solution on the spot.
Yeah. Well, good luck. Talk to your boy Sleepy.
A lot of people are asleep.
Yeah. Maybe my guy Vivek can help you.
Vivek. You can't even say his name right.
Well, I could call him Vivek, whatever. If he gets everyone back in the office, I'm happy. But that's that's the opportunity. Like
that's like what we call pork barrel legislation.
Yeah.
Where you give the congressman to get your vote, be like, hey, we're going to help your city. Just make sure you vote for the larger healthcare bill. Why aren't we doing that with our CEOs?
So here the offices are the worst performer of real estate. Lost 31% of their value since the Fed first began raising interest rates.
Not good.
Yeah.
So they're underwater.
Yeah.
Because most of these buildings are levered like 80%.
Yeah. So like, the thing is to me, like whenever everyone's running from the hills from something, it's probably the best time to go. And like, I just don't believe all these buildings we're just going to let the fucking buildings crumble and fail. I just don't see it happening. They may get rezoned, they may get repurposed, or companies go back to work.
Yeah, I think it's the new player that's going to win, not the existing player.
I think existing
players are all getting smoked.
Yeah, they're toast. But a new player
with cash. If Warren Buffett starts buying buildings, you know where the business opportunity is.
Yeah. Like
that's what he did in 2008. He lent Goldman on this like sweetheart deal convertible note because they needed liquidity to shore up their balance sheet.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I didn't have any capital to profit off of it.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, that means the banks are fine.
Yeah. Because he's not giving anything. No. All right. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens. So there's a hurricane hitting Florida. I didn't even know. I'm so out of the loop. What's going on there?
Yeah, it's a category 3 as of now. And this is kind of what we talked about when we talked about the disaster in Maui. These things are just going to happen. The frequency is just increasing.
Yeah.
And these are going to hit cities in all the tropical places. And because of climate change, and I know your boy Vivek is a climate change denier.
Yeah.
There's just going to be a lot of death, a lot of destruction.
I think the thing that the government can do better is just like, we know these things are happening. Like, we got to educate. Like, I think in Florida, people are hurricane prepared in general. Like, they're more so prepared than...
They know it's a cost of living there, but it's just happening at exponentially higher rates.
Yeah. And I think they're pretty self-aware of that. I think the key is just like, we got to do like more preparedness training on like how to handle it. Like, what should you have stocked in your closet? Like, and I think people in Florida
or
do
like, if you get the warning to leave.
Yeah.
Don't stay.
Yeah. There's no reason to be a hero. But yeah, it'll be pretty interesting. All right. Last topic before we jump into winners, losers content and shout outs. Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
Frozen.
Second time. Sad.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not making light of it because I mean, the video has gone viral, but we can't have these people running the country. I saw a picture of Dianne Feinstein getting wheeled out the other day. Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing?
Even one of the leading Republican voices, he obviously called out all the Democrats, but he said Mitch McConnell needs to go. Clay Travis.
100%. These are people running our country.
Yeah.
I don't understand how there's no one under 100 that's capable of leading politics.
I mean, it is the voting bases that are to blame. The voters are voting these people in.
Yeah.
It's not like there wasn't a competitor to McConnell in the last election. What's crazy is the question that was asked is if he's running again in 2026. And he froze.
Because he's like, now I know I'm going to run and I'm going to win. I don't want him to be awake.
If voters don't show up and vote for younger candidates, how does this get solved?
Because the voters that vote are closer to Mitch McConnell's age and Sleepy Joe's.
Because today's Gen Z, we used to be that young. No one ever votes if you're in 20s.
You don't really start voting till you're like 30. I think most, if you care.
Probably older. Not like, obviously we voted.
I think once you have kids, is it usually a time a lot of people are like, oh, I actually give a shit what's happening in my neighborhood or my community or the country. Like, think about, like, generally speaking, like, I remember I've seen this transition in so many of my friends, like ultra liberal people grew up in the city, moved to the suburb, have kids, now a little bit more conservative. Like that's like a pretty positive, like a pretty probable case for a lot of people.
Well, they're more focused on crime,
and
homelessness,
safety, just like their general well-being of their children is like their top priority. And so you start caring about voting and who's like, even like, you know, casual friends of mine that I'll run into around town, they're like way more politically interested now than they were 20 years ago. Like when I was like geeking out over politics as an 18-year-old, no one fucking cared.
Right.
Like no one was paying attention. And it's just, unfortunately, like I don't think there'll ever be a time where young people are going to vote.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Just,
especially in this new clip age of TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram. No one has an attention span to go to a rally and hear what a politician has to
like
say.
a rally, forget it. Like think about, I mean, like
we used to go when we were like 16.
Like for like city council, like forget not even presidential.
I canvassed for a city council member on CSUN's campus, Cal State Northridge's campus, as a junior in high school. Walked around with his councilman trying to get people to vote.
Yeah.
He lost by a landslide.
Well, that's why you're not campaign manager.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think the challenge is like, if you can't figure out how to get younger people engaged, and an older person, generally speaking, is not going to vote for a younger person.
Right. You think so?
Well,
Barack got elected. He was young.
So he's like a once in a lifetime candidate that like he came in with like for his message, the way he spoke, the way he looked. It's just like a perfect package.
So Bill Clinton was young. That was in the 90s.
Yeah.
He was in his 40s when he got elected.
But he looked like gray hair. He was just like an old man still. Even when he was in his 40s, he had gray.
Yeah.
I just think it does matter like how you're presented. And I think Barack was an anomaly because of like, he was just such an incredible
We need to
speaker.
eliminate we need the gray hair in the room slogan.
Yeah.
You've taken it too far in politics.
Yeah, we need the dinosaur in the room. I mean, and the thing is, it's not like these guys even know what's going on. They have no idea. No idea.
If you're freezing at a press conference, what do you know about AI?
You could freeze because there's AI now. Maybe that's his whole thing. Maybe he's pushing AI agenda. I don't even need to be alive now.
Who knows?
Pretty fascinating. All right, let's move on. Winners, losers, content. Winner of the week.
I'm rolling with USC. I was inspired from the first part of our podcast.
Okay.
I love what John, Avi, and Keyshawn are doing at the Tommy Group. USC fresh off an ass whooping against San Jose State. Caleb Williams, rock star.
Yeah.
That one play, like grabbed the ball and just launched it 70 yards off the ground.
Yeah.
Zachariah Branch, punt return touchdown. This team has so many stars. The school, there's a buzz in the city in Los Angeles around USC football that we haven't seen since the Matt Reggie years.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's exciting. My winner of the week is Trump. Everyone who was anti-Trump this entire time wanted him to get arrested, wanted the mugshot, and felt like that was the end. Like people are gonna, close the book on him. The fucking mugshot was cool. It was a good picture.
He raised a lot of money off of it.
And my friend was telling me the other day, because he was like, oh, did you see Trump got arrested? It literally just happened. And then he texted me like 3 hours later, and he's like, dude, it's like half my friends' pick in the chat, like their profile
and
pic.
It became a meme thing.
Yeah. And
like in my fantasy football chat, they're like, this is me at the fantasy draft walking in.
That's my point. People underestimate what happens when you're part of the zeitgeist. You don't want your opponent to be a part of the zeitgeist. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, it's Gunna's lawyer. He's going to walk. It's just like, it's
it
like.
became a pop culture moment.
And so I think like it's similar to, I think when they were talking about the Republican debates, it's so much less about the substance. It's how you frame the story and how you really.
Yeah, it's the messenger, not the message.
Exactly. And I think.
Because the messenger, Trump was saying the craziest shit, but he was charismatic.
Yes.
And engaging.
Yes. And the thing is like that picture, like I sent you guys a TikTok clip of the like popular comedian. He's like on TikTok. I follow him. And he was like, man, the dude looks kind of hard. He took it like a champ. He said, be here Friday, I'll be here Thursday. And like that, even though he's jokingly saying it, if you're a kid just listening to it, you're like, oh yeah,
Well, I mean,
man.
that's why the Nelk boys are all in on Trump.
Yeah.
All these guys, Aiden Ross.
Yeah.
They think he's cool.
I think people are underestimating that piece. And like, you just keep playing
What's
into
sad
him.
is he might be the candidate to bring out the 20-year-olds
Yes.
this time.
I think he could bring out more young people than any other
I
candidate.
agree with that because the biggest male young influencers are pro-Trump.
Yeah. So that's why he's my winner of the week.
There you go.
Loser.
Loser and content are the same thing. We've talked about it a handful of times on the podcast, but I finally have gotten super into Painkiller, the show on
Oh, yeah.
Netflix.
It's incredible.
Oh my God.
So sad.
So sad. And like, you lose faith now in the FDA. You lose faith in the entire system of pharmaceuticals.
Well, this is my point. When people joke about the conspiracy thing,
so
we
just
allow these things to happen.
here's what happened, and I'm not. These are all facts that are published, not spoiler alerts for the show. What Purdue Pharma was basically had no outs unless they got OxyContin approved.
Yeah.
So they've been trying to convince the guy at the FDA that was put on their case to approve the drug, and they couldn't get it. He actually started like saying no and questioning it. Then they took him to a hotel and partied for 3 days.
Yeah.
Approved the next week, and a year later he started working at Purdue Pharma. And this has killed hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people.
Yep.
And Peter Berg, who created the show, he was on Rogan, and I just saw the clip on social,
Yeah.
so I don't actually know when he was
Does
on.
he have like family that had
Unclear,
affected?
but each episode opens with a family that in real life got affected by the opioid crisis.
Yeah.
So I saw this clip today so the settlement was $6 billion that the Sacklers had to
Yeah.
pay, and they're probably worth $15 billion is what Peter Berg said. And the day Painkiller came out, the Supreme Court didn't ratify it, and now it's back open that they could face legal charges that are higher fines and potentially
Supreme Court
criminal.
went in to say you can't go bankrupt. Fuck
Yeah.
you. Because I mean, like this is like the most obvious thing of in our lifetime. That's like the evidence is plain and clear. There's no and so like
And it also shows how poor the institutions are. They use a letter from a Boston University doctor that had no idea that he was being quoted in this OxyContin approval process. And he's like, I didn't write this for this. They just basically like finagled the whole thing
yeah,
to get approved.
yeah,
And they were given more money the more you prescribe it per milligram.
yeah. No, it's a joke, and I think like it is, it's just these things that are happening in our society. Like why I question everything is just because we know that this shady shit is happening. Like pharmaceutical companies, and I know it's like you're touchy about the vaccine, but like the fact that you don't question it is crazy.
Not that I don't question it. I just see death rates fell off a cliff once the vaccine rolled
But
off.
I know, but are you willing to accept that there is a chance that there are some negative impacts of the vaccine?
A chance, sure.
Of course.
I don't think it's overwhelming or even statistically relevant.
But there's a chance because someone could have had an issue
So
with
the
it.
thing about, and since we live in LA, and this is like a blanket statement, so largely opioids affect the homeless crowd in LA. I don't think it's as rampant as like just average kids just getting addicted. Maybe it is. I can be
Yeah.
totally wrong. But I know when Drama talks about Ohio, he's like, it's the average person.
Yeah,
It's not the homeless person. It's the average person getting addicted to opioids.
yeah,
And that's what the show brings out, because look, we've been in our whole life. Like, sure, there's addicts, but like, it's not like as common as the show portrayed. In the
Yeah.
show, it looked like everyone in freaking the Midwest was on this shit.
yeah, yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know what's happening in the suburbs, and we only know the people we know. So I don't want to speak on, it's obviously a
Yeah.
national crisis.
No, it is. But I
Yeah.
think it's primarily hitting the middle of the country.
Yeah, that makes sense. My loser are airlines. And the reason being is Google Flights just introduced a feature that's kind of badass. It basically tells you if you're booking a flight, tells you, and let's say, you want to go somewhere at a certain time, it tells you what are the best days to book the flight.
To get it cheaper?
Yes. It's pretty fascinating. I wonder if it'll be used against us also.
Of course, because if everyone, I think Kevin Stamler told me he listens Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Yeah.
That's when you want to be on a flight.
Be on a flight or book a flight?
Departing on a Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay.
I think that's what he said. He'll text us if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Because I find it fascinating because and the reason why I like it is that Google probably has the most real life AI applications already. Put it like this. Most of my email responses are responses suggested by Gmail.
Thanks.
Sounds great. I click that for 90% of my responses.
Email's stupid. I hate email now. It's so much easier to communicate with people via WhatsApp, via text.
You know why I don't like that? Because in WhatsApp and text, they don't have thanks sounds great. I have to fucking write it.
Voice note it.
Voice note is for losers. There's now there's an app that I think WhatsApp transcribes all the voice notes now. I think. Or
half the emails, I'm sure yours is like 100 a morning are stupid people that found you on LinkedIn pitching you like a line of credit solution.
Yeah, but I'm not even opening those. So that's not a problem. But if it's work.
But if you're just scanning your email, you're like spam, you won't even, you're going to miss an email that is important.
Yeah. That I definitely do all the time. But even that, it says, Gmail will see a thread and say, 3 days ago you got this email. You didn't respond.
That part is awesome.
Yes.
That part is great.
And then if you use things like Superhuman embedded in your email, you do get some pretty impressive leverage.
Look at you, all techie.
I'm a big AI guy.
Superhuman.
So check this out. There's a service that transcribes, there's a lot of services like these AI transcripts of your Zoom calls.
Yep.
It's you pay $10 a month, whatever. And so I was like, how good is this service? Because I was on a call with the founder.
It's amazing. I've been on Zooms.
Yeah, so because it summarizes it neatly, gives you full transcript and summarize. So I said, fuck this service with the company name. They bleeped it out.
Really? Censored?
Yeah, censorship.
Oh, wow.
I didn't like that.
It's not good. Not good at all.
All right. So that's my loser, the airlines. Because I think with AI, things like that, average consumer is going to get alpha for a small period of time.
Yeah.
And then they'll correct. What's yours?
That was my content loser. Loser was our country for the opioid crisis.
Yeah.
And the way we just let Purdue Pharma kill Americans.
Yeah.
I mean, more people have died from Purdue Pharma than 9/11 and on soil.
Yeah. Which is crazy. Content is just football. I don't really care about anything else now.
Yeah.
Now the football season's in. Fantasy football drafts next week.
Fantasy drafts. A lot of the serious leagues draft 2 days before because you don't want your star player to get injured.
Yeah.
In training camp.
Yeah. So
a lot of people getting carted off right now.
American males next week if you want to rob an American male, that's the week to do it. They are checked out. Everyone's fantasy football draft.
Yeah, I need to grind some podcasts.
No one's doing shit next week. Productivity of the American male workforce is in the toilet next week.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people I've talked to? I can't do that. I got draft. I can't do that. The draft. I can't have meetings with anyone because it's fucking drafts.
Yeah, it's important stuff.
All right. Shout outs. First shout out is from Adrian to Daniel Martinez. Shout out to Daniel. Congrats on the new job. Well deserved. Good work, Daniel. You're one of the 177,000 people, according to ADP, that got a job this month.
Okay.
The next one is from Andrew. Sing a song to Dion and Drama. I'd like to shout out Dion and Drama for always helping to put my kids down when we have to give them a car nap. Wow. I feel like that's a shot. I don't think that's a compliment.
Putting kids to sleep.
Yeah. Enzo, Eris, and Hendrix have been falling asleep to their voices since Drama's short story long date. My wife, Kim, also wants to thank you guys. Keep up the great work. P.S. I'm still waiting for the GCP license plate holder to drop so I can throw it on the minivan. Yeah, we got to release that.
Yeah. And then happy early birthday, since we'll be doing a Monday pod, which is
who?
9 to you.
Oh yeah.
D's birthday is Sunday, September 3rd.
Ugh.
We're going to be recording September 4th night because it's Labor Day weekend.
Yeah. 43.
Oof.
That's so fucking old.
It is.
I always, when I think of 43, I think of like when we were growing up, parents, friends who were 43, and I'm like, God damn, they're old.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to add.
Yeah. Luckily, I don't feel, I mean, like, I don't know if I feel 43 or not, but just the age is like, that's basically like I'm midlife.
Yeah. It's
Maybe less, maybe more. We don't really know.
I feel like people start having those mental discussions with themselves when they get to like 60. So
I think
You
it's
shouldn't start
more of when
thinking
your
about it.
body starts breaking down.
I mean, Warren Buffett turned 93 today,
Yeah.
and he eats McDonald's every morning, the sausage, egg, and patty.
That could all be fake too.
Yeah.
He might be the healthiest guy we ever met. He might be vegan, and the whole thing is a sham.
Be good.
Yeah. When one day they're writing his obituary, he's like, man, the guy never had a McDonald's in his day of life.
That'd be funny.
All right, that's it. Another long episode. Sorry, Ari. Is this your farewell episode or next
Monday.
Monday episode,
Monday's
yeah.
your farewell. Okay, we'll do a proper send off, proper fuck off.
Hopefully this episode was recorded because I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, like I always say, and people don't like saying this, and I say this to my wife about people in our life. When they're gone, they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
We've never seen Tim ever again.
Haven't seen Tim. Haven't seen Pete.
Yeah, I see Pete. I saw him at the office the other day, but like, it's not in a negative way. It's just that life goes on. People have things to do. They make new relationships. Their life goes on.
Yeah, I mean, even some of the people I was super close with at Reckless, haven't seen them again.
Yeah, you'll never see them again.
Mhm.
And they live like a mile away.
Right.
It's just how life goes. Take a look at Ari.
I'll try my best to stay connected with you guys.
I mean, that's what everyone says. It's not against you. I'm just saying that's how it's the sad
Yeah, you're
reality of
going
the
to be
world.
busy with school, have
Yeah.
a new group of friends.
Chasing some girl that's going to break your heart and then whine about it.
And then you'll have to work for a public defender, and you're going to have to start spending time with them.
Yeah. When you start running the billboards for your ambulance chasing business, come back on the pod.
That's where you need to be, personal injury attorney.
They have personal injury attorneys as the route.
The richest attorney in America that's practicing is a personal injury attorney.
Yeah.
Morgan
Yeah.
in Florida.
I'm going to tell you something. You called Jacob Emrani. I'm sure he's doing
There's
great.
a reason why his courtside seats.
By the way, Jacob Emrani is the only lawyer name I know.
Yeah, call Jacob.
All right. See you guys back here. Have a great long weekend. See you here Monday.
Peace.